My name is Malika Coleman. I'm a model, creative, and actress, and I'm here with Safiya Sanyika. Hi, Safiya.
Hi, Malika. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing
good. So I know you have a bunch of accolades, so I'm going to try my best to encompass all of it. So you are a speaker, you are an MC, a host, a model, a talent coach, an owner, a founder in the Esther Christine Performing Arts Institute. You were the first African American MS Massachusetts American Strong 2001. I know I'm missing something, but you have a lot of accolades.
Oh, I mean, I'm a mom.
You are a mom.
I've got 3 beautiful boys.
Yeah.
We own pets.
I love pet owners.
Yes, I love pet owners. I'm a wife. 22 years. It's hard. I tend to forget my own accolades as well. I have a bachelor's degree in early child education, specializing in working with individuals with special needs.
Of course you do.
Of course I do, right? I'm currently taking my life coaching course because I really want to take my education degree and mix it with my love for modeling and acting, and then find a way to use that as the catalyst to teaching public speaking, confidence, interview skills, wardrobe. I mean, so many of us just don't even know those little things because you don't know what you don't know. So I'm really trying to find a way to take all of these accolades and skills that I've been blessed with and figure out how to do something with the teens. I think that generation needs a lot.
Okay.
I feel like when I was growing up, I had a lot of resources and access to so many things that I won't say is not there now, but I'll say that it's not as talked about. I feel like New England has so many resources, but we forget to actually talk about them. And so now not enough people are taking advantage of these resources, and pandemic hurt us. Pandemic.
Taking those things that we have for granted and not knowing that they exist on the shelf, and then you're realizing, I do have that book, or I do have that resource. So coming back into, post-COVID life, it's just figuring out what we have in our balance, I guess.
Right, what's available, how is it available, and then we have to be mindful that there are a lot of things being cut. So now's the time that if we are going to take advantage of certain resources, we need to do it now. How many people don't know that all of our community colleges are offering free education? If you don't already have a degree, you can go to any one of our community colleges and get an associate's degree for free. We didn't have that growing up.
No.
So it's I want to be that hub, that person who knows a little bit of everything, who can share it with you.
You are a guru and a wealth of knowledge.
I'm trying.
You are.
Thank you.
You're doing.
I appreciate it. Some days you're not sure, you know what I mean? It's is it falling on deaf ears? Are people actually listening? It's like when my boys, right? I'm always talking, yapping, and it isn't until someone calls me and goes, I met your son and he was such a breath of fresh air, and you go, yes, check mark, I'm doing something.
You're doing something well.
Because you don't always know, because you don't always, I don't do things with this intent of, I'm looking for the return, right? I do what I do because it's what I'm supposed to do in that moment. So to see the return is always word. Okay, I feel the return. Thank you.
The price,
yes,
the reward, risk, all of it is going. Speaking of that, so today's Women Empowering event.
Yes.
You're a speaker, you're a host. How do you find yourself in these spaces? How do you get to this?
Really just, I think, aligning myself with people, sharing what I want to do on a deeper level with anyone who's willing to listen. And so I think that's how I keep ending up in spaces where the goal is really to inform, inspire, and empower.
Yeah.
And as an African American and a woman, we're always faced with these extra challenges and stereotypes, right? Black women don't know how to get along. All we got is an attitude, right? It's always something. So I want to make sure that that's not the message that continues to carry on when people look at us women.
Yeah.
We are strong, we are powerful, we do have a lot to say, and by right, we should say it. But that doesn't mean that we're not reasonable or that you can't work with us. So I want to make sure that that message is always being hit. And really, I grew up during an era where I felt informed and inspired all the time. Like, my parents will tell you, if you're not feeling inspired, informed, or a good refresher, you better check who you hanging with.
Yeah.
Those people aren't putting in enough to you. So that's, you know, being in my 40s and my parents are in their
40s where?
Right, I know, I love it, I love
40s
it.
where?
I talked to someone earlier and she goes, wait, you've got kids and a husband? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I've known you for 5 years and I did not even realize that. And I'm like, I'm so sorry we haven't had those deep conversations. But the thought process is to say, I grew up with always being inspired. My mother is an educator. My father's an educator. My grandmother worked for DCF. My aunt was a social worker. So this idea of always sharing has always been a part of my family. But when you talk to others in the community, that's not always the message that they were raised with. So I want that message to be given, and I don't care if we're hitting the 60-year-olds, right? The 60-year-olds need to know it's okay to share. It's okay to be nice to each other, because they've been around for so long and had so many things that they've experienced that I find that there's no filter.
No.
Right? So they just say what they think.
My grandmother was like that.
All the time. I'm constantly telling my father, you're going to get us all in trouble. You can't say that out loud. You're going to get us in trouble.
Yeah.
Right. But the thought process is, they've been there.
Yeah.
I had that pleasure. And so I look around and I go, a lot of our this other generation, they don't have the grandparents. You know, their grandparents weren't around. They didn't have the pleasure of me. I knew my great-grandparents. I had that pleasure of being raised in the same home with them. So where are they going to get this extra, knowledge from? Right? If your parent is 20 years old, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And if your grandparents are 30 years old, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that my voice carries weight somewhere.
Yeah.
And that some conversation that I'm having resonates for someone, right? All I want is one person to walk away and feel some form of inspiration or empowerment for being in the same space with me, and vice versa. Like, I enjoyed today. I was waiting for Gail. I was waiting for her. Because I knew she was going to hit on some tips about just being safe. And we're in a new generation. Like, again, being in the 40s, we had beepers, okay? Right? We had cell phones where A, B, and C.
You might be losing us.
I might lose y'all, right?
Some people.
Right. We had cell phones that were A, B, and C was number one. Yeah. So you had to hit the button until you got it, right?
Yep.
Now we have TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. I mean, there's so much digital play happening.
Yeah.
A lot of us don't know how to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not sure, and then we tend to not listen to that internal voice telling us something's wrong. So I was really excited about her delivery and really just kind of, again, giving you those refreshers. When someone calls you and says you owe them money, if you've never spent money with them, let that be your red flag. Because sometimes we just get caught up. You're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and you work a 13-hour day, and now someone's like, you owe money, and the first thing you want to do is just solve the problem.
Right, and just be done with it.
Just done with it.
I finished it, I completed it.
Right.
I definitely want to continue this conversation. We're going to continue to go break first.
All right.
Say you need your space, then pull me close. I read your silence, louder than most. One day you're warm, the next day you're cold. Got me second guessing what I already know. I give you love, but you ration yours. You open up just to close the door, just to close the door. I stay up late, trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind, but your love got rules that change all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim. If you love me, baby, say it with your chest. Yeah, tired of the maybes, I just want the yes. Don't play me like a song on spin. If you ride for me, then ride to the end. Don't wanna love this paper thin, so why you always halfway in? Halfway in. You hit me up when the nights get slow, but then disappear when the highs get low. I ain't your maybe.
Hi again, my name is Malika. I am a creator, actress, and I'm here with Safiya. Safiya, we were talking about how Gail was using discernment.
Yes.
And essentially just we're talking about how there's scams in the world and people from the IRS will call and just, using that discernment.
Baby, just name the time.
Really, yeah. And I think the message that, I left with, and then I think I even reiterated was follow your gut.
Yeah.
If your gut tells you something don't feel right, it is okay to stop the conversation, demand things in writing, get a phone number, because they're getting good. I mean, like good. I had someone call me, the number showed up as Eversource. But it was scary. It actually said Eversource on my caller ID. And they were telling me, thank goodness they caught me in the day where like I was really paying attention. They tried to tell me that if I paid, like let's just say I owe $500 on my electric bill. If I paid the $500 off on the spot, they were gonna give me free electricity for the next 3 months. I was like, wait, what? Say that again. Repeat it out loud. Say it one more time. Right?
One more time. It has to register.
But could you imagine had you caught me or even anyone else on a different day?
Yeah.
How good did that sound?
Yeah.
If I pay my bill in full, you're gonna give me this reward?
That's scary.
Scary. And because the number showed up as Eversource, you really felt like it was legit. And I said, this doesn't feel right. I've never heard of getting free electricity.
Yeah.
I know that they have programs, like they have programs where if you pay your electricity on time, they have like a credit system kind of like thing, right? So you know those things, but nothing's ever coming back in cash. So I said, you need to email me, So then I hang up, I Google search Eversource's phone number, I called them, and she was like, no, that's a scam. And I said, well, you need to know that their number is actually saying Eversource. And she's like, thank you for calling, that's a new one for us. So people have been calling and reporting, but this was a newest case of like that. So, like I said, the message I hope people left with is just follow your gut. If it don't feel right, stop. Ask questions. Call a relative.
Phone a friend.
For real, phone a friend. Because sometimes that's the best way for you to discern if you should do something or not do something. You know what I mean? Like that's the best way to go. So
Yeah. So I want to circle back thinking of your journey.
Yeah.
What is something that people don't know about you and your strength and things that you go through?
Ooh. I think one major thing that people don't know, because I am very vocal about being an MS warrior, having multiple sclerosis and what that journey's looked like since 2019. It's been a roller coaster. I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk.
So you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2019 with MS, and it came on like a stroke. So I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I didn't drive for a year. I had to do physical therapy. So I was in PT, OT, speech. I did Tai Chi and acupuncture. And with that regimen, I was able to be where I'm at right now, where I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm modeling, I got a little dance back in my system. But the struggles with MS are still always there. I'm in pain every day. A lot of times my symptoms mirror ADHD. So there's this like lack of focus, memory fog. I could be on my way to my mother's house and somebody called, and now I don't know where I'm going, but I ain't going to my mama's house. That happens where now I'm literally using the GPS to go everywhere, right? I'm going to South Bay, I'm putting the GPS on because I'm telling you, one little thing can distract and I'm somewhere else. We were supposed to be on our way to Braintree. I started taking us to Worcester because Worcester is part of my normal routine, right? It's part of my commute. We started driving to Worcester and she's like, I don't think this is the way to Braintree. And no one wants to like, right, no one wants to like yell at me because they know genuinely like I'm not taking you on a scenic route on purpose. So everyone like stalls it out and they kind of wait and then they're like, I don't think this is where we're supposed to go. And I'm like, you could have said that 18 minutes ago, right? But so I am vocal about that journey and the fact that every day is a struggle. I'm in a fight with my own self literally every day. But I think something that I don't share as much is that I'm raising children with disabilities. So that adds on to your day-to-day. I have a 15, a 16, and a 28-year-old. And my 16-year-old was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. So for those that are familiar with either, a lot of the characteristics overlap.
Okay.
There's a lot of overlap between autism, being diagnosed with autism, or being on the spectrum with also having ADHD.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with a lot of lack of focus. Intention is there. Doesn't always happen in execution. Reading the room is not always his strong suit. So there's a lot of that like real hands-on. And his brother was diagnosed, I chuckle before I say it, because they diagnosed him with a mood disorder. And so anyone that's in this industry knows that a mood disorder means politely, you don't really know what is the problem, what makes him tick, but you know something about his behavior. It's just not as normal, right? So he's a very interesting individual. He's a straight A student, but he's got a mouth on him, boy. Invictus Saif is he's like one that loves hard. He's the sweetest thing, so everything will bother him. If you hit your toe, it's like he hit his toe. He's hurt. Yes, but a lot of it where like it can completely throw him off that you don't feel good.
Got it.
So these are struggles that I'm dealing with every single day. So I'm managing my own self plus them as well, and then the school and things of that nature. So I think that's an area like a lot of people don't know. You know, some people know I have children, but they don't know the depth of the fact that I'm raising children with disabilities as I manage my own disability.
I give it to you. You're juggling multiple hats and then socks.
Yes.
And then paint. You're doing it all.
I'm trying.
You know what you're doing. And not many people are able to, even come close to what you are doing. So I applaud you.
Thank you. And I'm not a bragger, you know what I mean? Like, you and I have been in each other's space, since 2019, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a bragger, you know what I mean? Like, I'm blessed. You know, he has blessed me with skills, and now I'm just literally trying to take all the skills that he gave me and figure out ways to share them with others.
And you are. And you have the Institute of Esther Christine.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
So Esther Christine Performing Arts, we named after my grandmother. My grandmother, my father's side was a professional tap dancer. So we like to think that her, love for the arts trickled to my father, who is a poet, he's a playwright, he's an author. And then it trickled down to me where I love modeling. Put me in some heels and a runway, and it's my thing. But I love being a mentor. And I think that came from both my parents. They both have education degrees. My father has a PhD. My mother has a master's. So I think this love to educate, mentor, came from them, and I just wanted to do it differently. I worked in Boston Public Schools for over 10 years and absolutely loved it. It was an amazing experience. But what I do at the Institute, just puts a smile on my face. My kids want to do homework.
Yeah.
I love that, right? They're literally calling me to be like, Miss Safiya, I did my homework, right? I got a guy, Pedro. Pedro's still around. Pedro will send me random photo shoots of his new pajamas as part of his homework. So it just brings a different form of excitement and joy. We're still working on reading. We're still working on math. We're working on social skills, but we're using modeling and acting as a catalyst, so it comes from a different place. There's a different kind of commitment and fun that you can still have with it. We still learn how to tell time on an analog clock.
I love that. And I won't take much of your time, but before I let you go, How we enroll for this school? Because I know you have a lot going on. I've worked with you, as you mentioned
Yes.
before. I have been your instructor. I have
Yes.
worked on you as a model. I have worked with Safiya. Safiya is great.
Thank you.
So how can we find you moving forward?
Yes, well, you can always find me on Instagram. You can just go to Safiya Sanyika, SafiyaSanyika. From there, you would find Esther Christine Performing Arts Institute, and then we also have our model and talent management company as well that we started. But I'm really trying to focus on the development because I feel like that is an area that New England does not have a lot of. We've got access to great schools.
Yeah.
But no one's really developing talent to understand that you're an entrepreneur already, right? Even before you decided to get into content, the day you said, I'm a model, you became an entrepreneur. So how does that look? How does that feel? How do you continue to do what you do 10 years later because you understand this is a business? So that's the information that needs to be trickled down to this new generation of model and actor. Soon as you say, I'm a model, let's go.
Let's do it.
What does that look like?
Yeah.
So, check us out at Sanyika Model and Talent Management, Esther Christine Performing Arts, or the simpler way is to just go to Safiya Sanyika, and from there, all of that is trickled down
all
to
the
you.
things, your IG,
Yes,
Facebook.
we have Facebook, IG, Sanyika Model and Talent has a website that we just rolled out. Our Esther Christine is under construction, so we're getting those things out there right now, just focused on finding the talent that wants the opportunity to be developed and really understand how to be a part of this business for longevity.
And we will definitely know you're going to Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.